Okay, this is the fifth part. It's January 7th. And I'm gonna record the sixth part, but maybe not upload the sixth part on January 13th, which will be the last uh part of this six-part series. And yeah, I'm gonna again talk about 6 points. I've been getting a little bit like demotivated making these like videos, so I just want to. I made it easy for myself. I set like a 1 hour limit, and I was like, let me try to find the quotes that I can, and not put so much effort into it because, yeah, it would cause me suffering to do that. So, uh, I'm also like, sort of, not sort of. I am behind in school. Not something I was ever good at, but I have help from family now, who are better at the things that I face in academics than I am. So that helps a lot. But anyways, the first point is so the Vimalakirti Sutra, on page 7, the second last paragraph, it says, although Vimalakirti ate and drank like others, what he truly savored was the joy of meditation. And on page 8, the third paragraph, it says, within the prostitutes' quarters, Vimalakirti was most honored because they or he converted and brought refinement to the prostitutes. And page 17, out of 64, the PDF and book pages are the same this time. This is page 17, the last paragraph. It says, all phenomena are the place of practice, for through them we know the emptiness of all phenomena. So essentially, this connects to the second point, which I'll talk about. Which I'll talk about. Um, but the first thing that's very important is that earthly desires, or basically, yeah, I know Buddhism talks about cutting off desires, but actually, it's not really possible to do that. At least not at this stage. Unless you were already, unless like Shakyamuni was here in human form, it's not really possible to do that, in my opinion. So, yeah. But the good news is you don't have to cut off your desires whatsoever. Um, for example, wanting to become a Buddha, that's like the most greedy, the greatest desire one could ever have. But it's a desire that I have, and it's a desire that I think everyone should have. But um, for example, that's a desire. How can you like cut off all desires and say, I want to attain uh, a certain level of meditation, I want to attain arahantship or Buddhahood? It's impossible. So, um, I mean, even if we were to be like, we were to accept, making like, we were to be like, okay, these desires don't count as like earthly desires, like the desire for Buddhahood or arahantship. Even if that were the case, I don't think it's still really realistic to cut off desires. So at least I'm not gonna try, and I don't recommend anyone who's watching to try to do that, because there's so much happiness that you can get from following your desires. It's just a matter of, I guess, tempering your desires so it's not too much, it's not too unrealistic, you know, etc., etc. But so the second point was the quotes. Yeah, those are the quotes for the first point. The second point is the four teachers of the three of the yeah the four teachers that followed the Lotus Sutra completely, that I think everyone should like learn from, should read their works, like if you can. I'm not really that good at Mandarin myself, so, or Japanese for that matter, so it's a little bit hard for me to, it's not a little bit, it's very hard for me to read the text or the works that these teachers, whose names I'm going to mention, the works that they wrote. But if you can, you will be able to understand and increase your your depth in understanding with regards to the Lotus Sutra, the entirety of Buddhism, and the entirety of reality. So, yeah, it would be my recommendation if it is in line with your desires. Um, the four teachers are Shakyamuni himself, Tiantai, or in his, I think his official, no, I'm not sure if this is his um, actual name, and I think Tiantai is his, well, whatever. Tiantai, or in in other words, Zhiyi, Zhiyi, and yeah, the fourth and third accent. So Zhiyi, um, he's Chinese, and there's also Dengyo or Saicho in Japan, who came after Tiantai, and then Nichiren Daishonin, who uh, who what was it? Following Dengyo. So these are the four teachers that I think anyone in this current age can learn from if you want to deepen your understanding of the Lotus Sutra. Um, but while like some of these, all of these teachers have criticized various schools of Buddhism or various ideas, but I think it's very important to realize that to embrace every religion, to embrace every school within Buddhism is actually the way. So it's just like, they did what was in accord with the times. So sometimes you criticize, sometimes you uh, embrace what another school embraces because that part of their teaching is suitable to the times, or that part of their teaching accords with what is spoken in the Lotus Sutra. But yeah, basically, I want to talk about what Tiantai said for the second point. He said that earthly desires are enlightenment. And believe it or not, through my months of being relatively alone, even though I go to school, I tended to stay away from other people. Through my, you know, months of being in solitude, several months of being in solitude, I realized that yes, earthly desires are enlightenment because, sorry, bub, because you need happiness for enlightenment, and the way you can do that is um, through accomplishing your desires and having desires in the first place. Having desires them itself can make you happy, but obviously you want to accomplish it to attain a much greater joy, and then after you accomplish one desire, then to go on to the next and the next and the next, and yeah, dedicate all merit that one creates to Buddhahood, and to helping oneself and others. I think this is, well, quite simply, this is what you need to become a Buddha, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, so back to the point, earthly desires are enlightenment. I want to become a singer, so um, like a like a singer, a stage singer. Uh, I think I'm into like relatively I'm into like Chinese and maybe English songs right now. But I mean, hopefully that expands. So I'm thinking I want to enter a singing competition, um, just to you know uh, maybe open up some opportunities, or just to give myself some opportunities or avenues that I can think like, okay, now what do I do from here in order to achieve my goal of becoming a stage singer. Um, so yeah, okay. Third point. Third point is, if I gain the Buddha way, I will employ expedient means, um, and preach this law for them, causing them to abide in it. Uh, Essentially, like, um, no matter no matter who, whatever being there is, uh, every being, basically it says, will eventually be caused to abide in the Lotus Sutra. And it also says, I think in chapter 10 of the Lotus Sutra, that because all bodhisattvas who gain supreme perfect enlightenment do so through this sutra. So uh, basically, even beings who don't even know about the Lotus Sutra now, um, for example, you know, yeah, every being will eventually hear and believe in and practice and understand the Lotus Sutra, which is absolutely amazing, I think. Um, I'm gonna be completely honest that I haven't seen the benefits that the Lotus Sutra has given me fully yet, and yeah, it's not even close. I imagine the small happinesses that I have now compared to the great happinesses um that I may experience in the future. Uh, so yeah, I mean, even if the going is not easy, it will get easier. So yeah, this is something that I guess brings me, yeah, slight joy to think about. The future. Uh, yeah. Okay. Point four is wish to allow them to attain purity. Okay. So point four is basically chapter two of the Lotus Sutra. Expedient means Shakyamuni says, I wish to open. The reason why the Buddhas appear in the world is to allow beings to attain comprehensive wisdom, to open up the path of Buddha wisdom to living beings, to enlighten them to the Buddha wisdom to living beings, to show them the path of purity. This is the one great reason for which Buddhas appear in the world. And how do I, for example, the first dhyana, second, third, fourth, and the higher states of meditation, they actually require um, bodily and mental purity, which is not to say that you have to cut yourself off from desires, which is this is the crucial part. In fact, I think it is only through maintaining desires that you can keep these states of meditation. But if you enter, for example, the first dhyana, um, which is, yeah, accompanied uh, by thought and mental discretion, basically you experience a joy that you never thought possible, that you never experienced in this lifetime yet. And okay, maybe okay. I'm certain that some people have experienced such great joys, but there is a chance that, if you feel like, oh, the childhood that I had was like so great, and I wish I could go back. If you're feeling that way, then there's a good chance that you have not experienced the first dhyana or higher states of meditation. Yeah, basically, you don't have to cut off your desires to attain purity. uh, you can attain purity with desires. And in fact, you can only truly attain purity while maintaining desires. Because if you think about it, like the practice of like celibacy is the idea that the act of sex is is impure or is dirty or is disgusting, for example. But actually, if you had a really pure mind, you would not see sex as disgusting or dirty or evil or bad or impure in any way, right? Because that's what a pure mind is. A pure mind is such that where other people see evil or see wrongdoing, you are able to see it in an objective manner, not labeling things, as good or evil. But I mean, in one sense, there is such a thing as good or evil. But on another level, on a much deeper level, you can say there is no such thing as good or evil. So But I'm not saying that sex is like bad. I mean, conventionally, but on that deeper level, it's like it can be considered pure. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if through pornography or whatever your view has been tainted regarding, the act of intercourse, then you will see it as negative potentially. But in fact, this is completely untrue. If you will realize that it's not inherently good or bad, and that okay, and that it is completely possible to view it with purity and with joy and happiness. Um, so yeah, that's point four. Point five is all others who bore you enmity or malice have likewise been wiped out. 100, 1,000 Buddhas will employ their transcendental powers to join in guarding and protecting you. Uh, this is, yeah. I think this is something that's extremely, well, it would bring me extremely great joy if I knew that, like, if I felt that no one hated me, if I felt that no one disliked me. And also, it makes me extremely happy that even if other people do hate me or try to hurt me, there are Buddhas who are protecting me like constantly. And actually, the Buddha's powers are immeasurable, so no matter what occurs, as long as I have faith in the Buddhas, as long as you have faith in the Buddhas, I do not worry at all. Like, even if it were to cost me my life, I'm still like, as long as I have faith and confidence in the Buddhas, because the Buddhas have achieved deathlessness, or they can perceive that there is neither death nor birth, in the way that we think, uh, you know, those occurrences transpire. For this reason, um, you know, even death is like much less scary now. Yeah. So, yeah, I just always have to believe, always have to keep reminding myself that the Buddha's strength, powers are immeasurable. Um, yeah. And point six, uh, chapter 14, um, of the Lotus Sutra. The quote is, "Remove yourself from cares and worries." I think that's just a really good piece of advice. Like, if there's something you want to achieve, if there's something that you're aiming for, don't bother yourself too much with unnecessary things. For me, I'm doing school. Like, I would like to quit school, I'm not gonna lie. But the reason why I'm continuing school is because I think I can't quit it. Like, I think I have to suffer school. Um, it's just like an intuitive feeling. I'm not sure if it's actually true. Maybe I could quit it. But yeah, remove yourself from cares and worries is point number six. Don't burn yourself with things you don't have to, like there's so many things that we could do. It's not necessarily about doing things more efficiently, it's just cutting out the unnecessary things in life, which will naturally make your life so much more efficient and relaxed, and you'll be doing much more in life what you want to actually do. Like, the amount of time that you spend on things that you like will be much greater, and the amount of time you spend on things that you don't like, because you cut so much of that out of your life, will be much less compared to before. So yeah, that's the sixth point. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'll see you guys on January 13th, or I guess whenever I upload the next part. Um, yeah, the next videos or video. I guess this time I'm doing just one video. So yeah, thank you for watching.